So weird. I don't have my hanging ball sack off my face. My bat wings are gone too. And
years, 1000 Delby Sisters has been one of TLC's most talked about reality shows, drawing millions of viewers who tuned in not just for the dramatic weight loss journeys of Tammy and Amy Slaton, but also for the raw honesty, the messy family drama, and the unfiltered humor that made the Slaton family stand out from other reality TV stars. The show has had plenty of highs and lows, triumphs and tragedies, and just when fans thought the series was guaranteed to continue, shocking new speculation began. Swirling Season 8 might actually be canceled, and the person at the center of that rumor is none other than Tammy Slaton herself. Tammy's journey has always been the heartbeat of the series. From her early days struggling at over 700 pounds, fighting for her health and her life, to her eventual transformation through weight loss, surgery, rehab, and sheer determination, she's carried the narrative in a way that few reality stars ever could. Fans have cried with her, raged at her setbacks, and celebrated every milestone she's managed to achieve. But now that she's undergone skin removal surgery and revealed her slimmer, new look to the world, many are asking, what else is left to show? Recently, Tammy may have given fans their biggest clue yet about the future of the show. It didn't come through a press release or an official TLC announcement. Instead, it was something much simpler. A like on social media. Tammy's subtle confirmation: Tammy was recently active on TikTok, filming herself in a head-to-toe pink outfit while promoting the Fatboy app alongside her friend Mallory. The video seemed innocent enough until a fan named Francis Chartrand left a comment that caught everyone's attention. Tammy Slaton, are they really going to cancel the show? I hope it's not true. I'll never watch TLC again because you guys are the only reason I get on there. Rather than ignore it, Tammy hit the like button. It was a tiny gesture, but in the world of reality TV speculation, it spoke volumes. Fans immediately began dissecting her response, interpreting it as a quiet confirmation that Season 8 has indeed been canceled. Tammy didn't say a word, but sometimes silence, or in this case, a like, can be louder than any statement. If true, this signals the end of an era not only for Tammy, but for the entire Slaton family. The question then becomes, what does Tammy's future look like outside of TLC, and why now? Tammy's complete transformation. To understand why cancellation rumors carry so much weight, we need to look at Tammy's journey in full. From the moment she appeared on screen, she embodied the emotional and physical struggle at the center of 1000 Delby Sisters. At her heaviest, Tammy weighed over 725 pounds, barely able to walk, suffering from life-threatening conditions, and battling emotional instability. She lashed out at family, fought with her siblings, and often seemed like the villain of the show. But through bariatric surgery, rehab, and relentless commitment, Tammy completely transformed. By 2025, she had shed over 500 pounds, reaching approximately 201 pounds, a staggering achievement that seemed impossible when the series first began. She didn't stop there. She went through skin removal surgery, including a facelift, dressing the painful and uncomfortable excess skin that hung from her body after such extreme weight loss. The results were jaw-dropping. Fans on TikTok and Instagram barely recognized her, commenting on how beautiful, confident, and even radiant she looked. Tammy's glowing new face became a symbol of her victory, not just over her weight, but over years of self-doubt, anger, and pain. So with her physical transformation seemingly complete, it's no wonder people are asking, what more is there to show on 1000 Delby Sisters? Why TLC might pull the plug? Reality TV thrives on conflict, transformation, and suspense. In the early seasons, fans tuned in to see whether Tammy could survive, whether Amy could start her family, and whether their siblings could find stability in their own lives. The uncertainty was what kept people hooked. But now, with Tammy no longer in danger, Amy apparently settled down with Brian Levern, and most of the family relatively stable, some worry the show has lost its central storyline. Tammy herself has spoiled many of her milestones by sharing them online before the episodes even air. Her engagement to Andrea Dalton, her post-surgery results, and her weight updates. When the audience already knows what's coming, the impact of the show diminishes. If TLC feels there's no longer enough drama or surprise to sustain another season, the network may decide to end the series while it's still beloved, rather than watch ratings decline. What comes next for Tammy? The end of 1000 Delby Sisters wouldn't mean the end of Tammy Slaton. In fact, many believe it could mark the beginning of her next chapter. Tammy has long expressed dreams of modeling, and now, with her new look and confidence, she might finally have that chance. She's already begun landing brand partnerships on social media, participating in commercial work, and making public appearances. With her massive fan following, there's no doubt she could transition into plus-size modeling or even influencer work full-time. Beyond modeling, Tammy has the opportunity to write a memoir or pursue speaking engagements. Her story of resilience and transformation is powerful, and people would pay to hear her tell it firsthand. In short, if the show is over, Tammy still has oodles of opportunities waiting for her. The funniest slatisms, one of the things fans will miss most if 1000 LB Sisters does end, are the infamous slatisms. The quirky, hilarious, and often totally incorrect phrases that Amy, Tammy, and their siblings throw around in everyday conversation. These little gems of unintentional comedy have become fan favorites, adding levity to a show that often dealt with very heavy themes. Take Amy's legendary line about Tammy having oodles of opportunity. She meant to say Odell's, but the slip of the tongue made the moment both funny and memorable. Fans still quote it years later as a classic slatism. Then there's Tammy's insistence that she was going to eat healthier by choosing a 30-ounce diet soda over the regular version, declaring proudly, "It's diet, so it's healthy." Fans couldn't help but laugh, not at her struggle, but at her delivery, her sincerity, mixed with complete unawareness. Another fan favorite came when Chris Combs tried to explain portion sizes during his weight loss journey. "You can't eat a whole pizza, Amy. You gotta eat like a triangle." His phrasing left fans cracking up, turning what should have been a serious dieting tip into a memorable one-liner. Even Amanda, the breakout star with her sharp wit, has contributed plenty of gems. At one point during an argument, she shouted, "You ain't gotta be all holler and huffy puffy," which fans instantly adopted as a meme. These slatisms are more than just bloopers. They're a big part of what made the show feel real and relatable. They reminded viewers that despite the drama and struggles, the Slatons are just a family like any other, full of love, frustration, and a whole lot of laughter. The end of an air war, a new beginning. Tammy's simple, like on a cancellation comment, might not seem like much, but to fans, it feels like the final piece of the puzzle. After years of watching her fight for survival, lose weight, transform her appearance, and even find love, her journey may have finally come full circle. For some, that's disappointing. The show has been a staple of reality TV since 2020, and letting go won't be easy. But for Tammy, this could be the best thing that's ever happened. Without the cameras constantly documenting her every move, she can focus on living her new life, pursuing modeling, enjoying her relationship with Andrea, and building a career outside of TLC. And even if 1000 Delby Sisters doesn't return for season 8, Tammy's legacy is secure. She went from being the controversial villain of the series to one of reality TV's most inspiring success stories. That transformation, physical, emotional, and personal, is something no cancellation can take away. Final thoughts, whether or not season 8 is truly canceled. One thing is certain, Tammy Slaton has changed her life in ways that once seemed impossible. She's beaten the odds, silenced her critics, and proven that resilience can overcome even the darkest of struggles. If the show ends here, it ends on a high note with Tammy victorious, healthy, and hopeful for the future. And as fans, we can only celebrate that, because isn't that what we wanted for her all along? As for the slatisms, the memes, and the unforgettable family moments, they'll live on forever in reruns, TikToks, and the hearts of the fans who've been with the Slaton family every step of the way. So maybe it isn't really the end. Maybe it's just the beginning of something new.
So we had a goal to lose 25 pounds, and we're up 10. So
the journey of the Slaton family has always been unpredictable, emotional, and sometimes unintentionally hilarious. Which is exactly why fans have stayed hooked on 1OOLB Sisters for so long. Now, with Tammy seemingly hinting at the cancellation of Season 8 after her skin removal surgery, the show's future has become the center of speculation. While TLC hasn't officially confirmed whether the series is ending, Tammy's actions on social media, especially liking a fan comment about cancellation, have sparked intense discussion. For many, this simple act felt like an unofficial confirmation that the end of an era may be near. But as one chapter closes, another opens. And in the case of Tammy and Amy, their personalities, quirks, and unforgettable Slatonisms ensure their stories will live on in fans' minds, no matter what happens with the show. Tammy's journey has been nothing short of extraordinary. From her early days on the show, battling severe obesity and dealing with constant health scares, to her dramatic weight loss surgery and eventual skin removal operation, her life has been a roller coaster of ups and downs. Fans remember that Tammy, who would lash out at her siblings, throw tantrums, and refuse to accept help. That Tammy became known as the villain of the series. But after her surgeries and hard-fought transformation, Tammy seemed to have softened. Not only did she shed hundreds of pounds, but she also shed the anger and frustration that once defined her. Viewers noticed a calmer, happier woman emerging, someone in love, engaged to Andrea Dalton, and seemingly on a new, more stable path. For many fans, Tammy's transformation was the payoff they had been waiting for since Season 1. The emotional investment in her story was huge. Audiences wanted to see if she would survive, if she would turn her life around, and if she would finally find happiness. Now that she has achieved those milestones, the question remains, what's left to film? Tammy herself may have given the answer by quietly liking that fan's comment, suggesting the show is canceled. Without her health struggles, outbursts, and high-stakes drama, TLC might feel the show has lost its edge. But 1000 Sisters was never just about Tammy. Amy's story has also captivated viewers in its own chaotic and humorous way. From the beginning, Amy balanced her role as Tammy's caretaker with her own dreams of motherhood, marriage, and independence. Along the way, Amy became known for her unfiltered personality, her southern drawl, and her often hilarious mispronunciations that fans lovingly call Slatonisms. These moments, sometimes accidental and sometimes said in the heat of emotion, have become part of the show's charm. They highlight the family's authenticity no matter how messy, silly, or raw things get. The Slatons don't try to put on a perfect act. Take, for instance, Amy's iconic line about Tammy having oodles of opportunity. What she meant, of course, was oodles, as in many chances. But her slip of the tongue created a phrase that fans have never forgotten. In that moment, Amy was expressing her frustration with Tammy's repeated refusals to accept help. Whether it was getting healthier, sticking to rehab, or listening to doctors, Tammy had been given chance after chance. Amy's words might have been mispronounced, but the emotion behind them was real. Her tough love, mixed with humor, reflected the exhaustion of a sister who had seen Tammy push away opportunity after opportunity. That phrase went viral, becoming a symbol of Amy's raw honesty and the way she unintentionally makes fans laugh while speaking straight from the heart. Then there's Chris Combs, the Slaton sibling who often brings a different kind of humor. In one memorable moment, he described Tammy by saying she puts on a different aurora. He clearly meant aura, pointing out that Tammy often behaves one way in front of doctors, polite, calm, and cooperative, and another way at home, where her temper and stubbornness shine through. His mix-up added a poetic twist, unintentionally making his point even funnier. Fans loved how Chris, in his straightforward way, called out Tammy's ability to put on different faces depending on the situation. His choice of words might not have been dictionary perfect, but it perfectly captured Tammy's complicated behavior. Amy, meanwhile, continued to deliver her own unique moments. When she and Tammy attended a Reiki healing session, Amy referred to it as Rafiki. Like the character from The Lion King, her light-hearted mispronunciation added levity to what could have been a serious scene. She even fell asleep during the session, prompting Tammy to joke about her sister's ability to nap anywhere. Fans adored the way Amy turned even a wellness exercise into something relatable and funny. Tammy also gave viewers some classic lines of her own. When confronted with a charcuterie board, he called it a karuchi board, and later described it as basically a little bit of everything. Amy teased her, asking what a kuhi board was, which led to a hilarious back and forth about cheese, grapes, and snacks. At one point, they even turned the board into a prop, joking it was a paddle, with Tammy smacking Amy as they burst out laughing. The mispronunciations karuchi, kuhi, shuchi became instant fan favorites, again proving that even in the smallest moments, the Slatons know how to keep things entertaining. Chris also added his own gem during a family trip to London, when he referred to the famous River Thames as the River Times. While sightseeing with Tammy, Amy, and the rest of the family, his slip-up was more endearing than embarrassing. Fans saw it as another example of the Slaton family's down-to-earth nature. They don't try to impress anyone with perfection. They just live, laugh, and occasionally mispronounce iconic landmarks. That mix of honesty and humor is exactly what makes them so lovable. Amy, for her part, had plenty of London adventures of her own. At Buckingham Palace, she jokingly called it Buckle Palace and referred to it as her future house. She even tried flirting with the royal guards, asking if they wanted to have tea with her. Her playful charm, complete with mispronunciations and bold humor, showed once again that Amy is always herself, unfiltered, quirky, and confident, even in front of British royalty. But not all moments have been lighthearted. Recently, fans have noticed bruises on Amy, sparking concern for her well-being. Throughout season 7, she was often seen crying, complaining, or at odds with her siblings. While bruises can have many explanations, her silence on the matter only fueled speculation. Fans flooded her social media with questions, worried about whether something serious was happening behind the scenes. This mysterious aspect of Amy's story reminds viewers that behind the laughter and malapropisms, there are real struggles, both emotional and physical, that the family faces. Amy has also been exploring her artistic side. She began creating and selling artwork, even naming her business after her fiancé, Brian Lavorne, by using Lorne as part of the brand name. Her creations, often mixed media pieces with paint, glitter, glass, and humor, reflect her personality perfectly. One piece featuring the word Sodies written on a soda can quickly became a fan favorite. Amy doesn't take herself too seriously, often joking that she can't even draw a stick figure. But fans love her creativity all the same. She once admitted she didn't want to be compared to artists like Vincent van Gogh, or as she adorably called him, Vincent Mung. Her self-deprecating humor, combined with genuine effort, shows her willingness to try new things and express herself. As for Tammy, her future beyond 1000 Delby Sisters seems uncertain but filled with potential. With her weight loss transformation complete and her engagement making headlines, she no longer needs the show to define her. She has already started appearing in commercials, and modeling could be a natural next step. Plus, her growing presence on TikTok and other social media platforms suggests she's already building a career outside of TLC. Tammy's fame is unlikely to fade anytime soon. Even if the cameras stop rolling, the Slaton family's appeal lies not only in their dramatic health journeys, but also in their authenticity. They are messy, emotional, and at times frustrating. But they are also funny, loving, and deeply relatable. Their unique way of speaking, their honest reactions, and their willingness to let the world see their flaws make them unforgettable. Whether it's Amy talking about ools of opportunity, Chris pointing out Tammy's different aurora, or Tammy serving up snack boards with her own twist, these moments are more than just bloopers. They're windows into the real personalities of a family that has invited millions of viewers into their lives. If Season 8 truly has been canceled, fans will mourn the end of an era. But the impact of 1000 Delby sisters won't disappear. Tammy and Amy's stories, their transformations, struggles, triumphs, and hilarious missteps have already cemented their place in reality TV history. And thanks to social media, their voices, their humor, and yes, their Slatonisms will continue to reach fans long after TLC moves on. In the end, the Slatons remind us of something simple yet powerful. Life is messy. People are imperfect, and laughter often comes from the most unexpected places. Whether they're mispronouncing charcuterie, calling the Thames the Times, or declaring Buckingham Palace their future house, Amy, Tammy, and Chris have shown us that authenticity always wins. And maybe that's why, even if 1002 Sisters is truly over, the family story is far from finished.
I'm like, damn, who made y'all perfect? Who said y'all's fathers don't stink? I've had enough.
The story of the Slaton sisters has always been raw, heartbreaking, and transformative. But in recent seasons of 1000 Delby Sisters, the spotlight has shifted in ways no one expected. Amy Slaton, long seen as the sister who held the family together, is now facing her own battles with mental health, physical setbacks, and the challenges of starting fresh. Tammy Slaton, once trapped in a cycle of despair, has emerged from near death into a new life filled with surgeries, milestones, and a confidence fans never thought possible. Their journeys, though starkly different, continue to collide and reshape the narrative of what this show is really about, leaving viewers inspired yet unsettled as both sisters walk into new chapters. Amy's arc has grown increasingly complicated. Fans watched as she was diagnosed with depression, bipolar disorder, and acute stress revelations that painted a different picture from the caretaker role she often played on screen. She had seemed to keep everything together, raising her children while Tammy resisted change, but privately, she was breaking down. Hoping to boost her health and image, Amy requested skin removal surgery from Dr. Smith. Instead of approval, she was told she needed to lose another 30 pounds, dropping from her then weight of 249 to be eligible. For someone already weighed down by family drama and personal struggles, this felt like another exhausting hurdle. Determined yet worn out, Amy tried healthier habits. Though rumors swirled among fans that she had secretly undergone a second gastric bypass sleeve before returning to film, the speculation reflected the complexity of her life. Change was never straightforward, and every step raised new questions. Her journey wasn't just about losing weight anymore. It was about untangling deeper issues that had always fueled her struggles. This vulnerability became even more visible when Amy appeared in public with unexplained bruises. A family photo that spread quickly online showed large, dark marks on her body, including one covering part of her leg. Reddit exploded with theories. Was Amy in danger? Was her fiancé Brian involved? Or was this simply a medical issue? Some pointed to anemia, known to cause easy bruising, while others suggested she might be on blood thinners. A more innocent idea floated around too, that her young children may have accidentally kicked or bumped her during play. Yet beneath the chatter was genuine worry. Fans feared Amy wasn't in a safe or healthy environment. Though she smiled in the photo, seemingly unbothered, the mystery only deepened as she stayed silent. The picture became another reminder that reality TV shows only fragments of a far more complicated truth. Amid this storm of speculation, Amy turned toward something brighter. Her art. She had always dabbled in crafts, but in 2025 she stepped into the spotlight with her creations. On social media, she unveiled a striking monochromatic piece made from a spray-painted black soda can ordinaire. Materials transformed into expressive art. Even more surprising was her decision to brand her work under a new name, Amy Lavorne Creations. By adopting Brian's surname before marriage, Amy stunned fans. Some applauded the bold step, praising her for committing to her passion and embracing change. Others criticized it as premature, warning that blending her identity with his too soon could backfire. Still, Amy pressed forward, proudly signing her pieces with the initials ALC. For her, This wasn't just about art sales, it was about reclaiming a sense of self after years of being defined by her weight, motherhood, and reality TV. While Amy was taking tentative steps into reinvention, Tammy was stepping into a transformation so dramatic it shocked even longtime viewers. For most of the show's run, Tammy had been the tragic figure, weighing over 700 pounds. Wearing 8XL clothes, unable to move freely, and lashing out at family members who tried to intervene. Survival was her only priority. Fashion, freedom, and joy were out of reach. But everything changed by season 7. Tammy underwent bariatric surgery, shed over 500 pounds, and later qualified for skin removal surgery that revealed a whole new version of herself. Her face slimmed down, her features became more defined, and fans often remarked that she looked like a completely different person. Yet the bigger change was emotional. Gone was the combative, angry woman who raged against her family. In her place was someone calmer, more grateful, and openly enjoying her relationship with Andrea Dalton. Tammy was finally living instead of surviving. This newfound life was reflected in her fashion choices. Once limited to oversized basics, she began experimenting with color, patterns, and accessories. Fans spotted her in floral prints, pastel tones, and stylish casual wear at Henderson, Kentucky's Pride event. She showed up in Genza Milestone for someone who once couldn't stand without help, with a plain white shirt and a bright Hawaiian lei. Her slick-back hair and relaxed look spoke volumes. For fans who remembered the days when she relied on oxygen and could barely leave her home, seeing her smiling, mingling, and posing for photos felt almost surreal. Fan reactions captured the magnitude of her transformation. One person described running up to her at Pride, thanking her for sharing her story and being touched by how kind and approachable she was in real life. For years, Tammy had been painted as her own worst enemy. Now, people were meeting a softer, friendlier version of her. Her public appearances marked a turning point. Tammy, who once hid from the world, was now boldly showing up at events and embracing her visibility. Every new outfit and every public photo carried a message. She had fought for this freedom, and now she was enjoying it fully. Still, Tammy admitted to nerves before her skin removal surgery, confessing she was terrified of how she might look without the excess skin that had been part of her for so long. But once the operation was behind her, the joy outweighed the fear. Fans flooded her social media with praise, marveling at her beauty and resilience. Together, Amy and Tammy's journeys formed a striking contrast. Amy was still tangled in her battle's mental health diagnoses, bruises sparking rumors, and the delicate balance of building a new identity through art. Tammy, in contrast, was reaping the rewards of years of work, standing tall as a symbol of resilience and self-acceptance. Yet, in their own ways, both sisters embodied the central theme of 1,000